And I had immediately posted that I think I had found the best dunkel in the state of Pennsylvania. Hey, everybody. It's Dr. T back at you with another episode into the multiverse of beer and music. And we've got a special one tonight, let me tell you. Found a new place over last weekend that I hadn't been to before that really left an impression. This is from Rosko's Brew House in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Fantastic little place. Not very big at all. Maybe four chairs at the bar, and table seating for another maybe 20 people, maybe. Plus, they have some outdoor seating too. But nice rustic little place. If you're ever in the north central part of Pennsylvania, make a stop because it's definitely worth it. Actually had the opportunity to chat a little bit with head brewer Taylor, and we talked about a lot, but we found out that we share a favorite band, and that will be revealed momentarily. But first, let's talk about the beer. The first beer I had there was a Dunkelweiss. Put a picture up because it was gorgeous. And I had immediately posted that I think I had found the best Dunkel in the state of Pennsylvania. And then after that, the second beer I had was their English Pale Ale. Now, initially, what attracted me to an English Pale Ale, well, theirs in particular was the name, but I do love English beers. Something special about English beers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. This particular beer is called Wait for All of This to Blow Over. Some of you may recognize that as a movie reference. In this case, it's a movie reference to the immaculate Shaun of the Dead. Fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you have seen it and you didn't like it, watch it again because you apparently weren't paying attention. But this is an English Pale Ale, weighing in at 5.6% and 41 IBUs. And the description from Rosko's is this. With a balanced, malt-forward flavor profile, sporting notes of caramel, toasted bread, and toffee, this English Pale Ale is defined by its moderate bitterness and earthy, woodsy, herbal character from a bountiful addition of UK Fuggle, EKG, and Challenger. Those are three hops we'll talk about in a second. A hop profile that has become a rarity in hoppy beers of the modern age. In a world of hazy beers, sometimes it's necessary to go to Roscoe's, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all of this to blow over. So, what do we expect from an English Pale Ale? What is an English Pale Ale? English Pale Ale is not an India Pale Ale, even though India Pale Ales are English origin. The English Pale Ale is a predecessor of the India Pale Ale. What we expect is a gold to bronze colored ale, somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 ABV, with a noticeable but not overpowering hop bitterness, somewhere in the 30 to 45 IBU range. English hops give a very signature earthy / herbal aroma and flavor. So let's talk a little bit about the three hops that they use in this particular beer. First off, they mention UK Fuggle, commonly just called Fuggle. UK denotes that the hops they got are actually from the United Kingdom. Fuggle started in the UK. It originally was a dual use hop, originally brought about in 1861, but with the trends over time to hoppier beers, Fuggle has been relegated to that of an aroma hop. Now, if you're starting to get confused what I mean by dual use, aroma hop, bittering hop, watch this video on hops, and it'll give you the lowdown on all of that. Uh, it Fuggle is known for its earthy, sweet flavor with warm wood and mild tree fruit aromas. Second hop they use is EKG, which is short for East Kent Golding, another British hop. It's considered the queen of the English hops from 1790. This aroma hop provides floral notes with citrus peel overtones and an herbaceous spring meadow like undercurrent. I think you're getting a sense for English hops, a very earthy, herbal, floral, sometimes even spicy notes are what are prominent in English hops. The last hop they reference is Challenger, which is a granddaughter of Northern Brewer hops from the Pacific Northwest in America, but they were released in 1972 by Y College, W-Y-E, Y College in England. They are a dual-purpose hop that provides mild to moderately intense spice with elements of evergreen and ripe fruit. So we're expecting something gold to bronze, nice hop aroma. English yeast tend to spin off some light fruity esters, which are not uncommon in English beers and welcome in English beers. But let's take a look at this bad boy. Well, that is gorgeous. I mean, just look at that. Nice bronze color. Fairly clear. Little bit of haze in there. Beautiful tan head, very creamy looking. Variegated bubbles, small and medium. Dissipating, not terribly fast, but also leaving a little lacing, so that's encouraging. Let's smell this bad boy. Get a nice bread crust, light caramel malt backbone to it. Lots of earthy hop aromas. I'm getting some herbaceous notes. Not quite pine or evergreen, but definitely earthy. Maybe even a little bit of black tea on the nose. That is a fantastic English pale. It starts off with a nice honeyed bread crust malt note. Pretty quickly gives way in the mid palate to a nice bitterness, and definitely not overpowering, but definitely balancing that initial sweetness. I'm getting that black tea. I'm getting some other spices. I'm getting floral, woodsy notes. But then that develops again Towards the back of the palate, a little bit of nutty sweetness comes through, which is just beautiful. And then that fades into a fairly lingering dry finish with the little bit of black tea returning at the end on that finish. Just beautifully executed. Complex, yet refined. It's not all over the place. It knows what it wants to be, and it's just executing that meticulously well in an incredibly entertaining way. And that leads me to tonight's musical choice. In talking to Taylor, I found out that he has not only an encyclopedic knowledge of the band Rush, but an intense love for the band. Uh, and since I have that same love for the band Rush, I decided the best thing to pair with this is obviously a Rush song. So tonight, we are going to look at the song Chemistry from the Signals album. Great tune, probably not as well known as some other songs off of the Signals album, like Subdivisions, but a great song nonetheless. Let's check it out. All right, folks, we're about to enter hallowed ground now. Rush is just a fantastic band. They're prog rock gods, formed in Toronto in 1968, and they reached their pinnacle triumvirate when Neil Peart joined Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee in 1974. They had a 41-year career with 19 studio albums, 11 live albums, 11 compilation albums, and 24 tours, and are widely regarded as one of the OGs of modern prog rock. Buckle up and let's take a ride. Come on now. Epic, just epic, tight, virtuosic. They're just amazing musicians. 3 people, all masters at what they do, pulling things together so intricately, so perfectly that even though it's incredibly complex, it feels effortless. It feels normal. A lot like this English Pale Ale. Incredibly complex, but just feels right. Just feels good. So across their 41-year career, Rush had 14 platinum and 3 multi-platinum albums in the US, 17 platinum albums in Canada. I guess maybe they just don't count multi-platinum in Canada. But be that as it may, they were nominated for 7 Grammy Awards. They won 10 Juno Awards, plus an International Achievement Award from the Society of Canadian Songwriters. They were inducted into the Canadian Rock Hall of Fame inaugural class in 1994, and they were finally, after many years of intense criticism delivered directly at the U.S. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominating committee, they were finally admitted into the U.S. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. Fans of the band will remember Alex Lifeson's acceptance speech, I'm sure. There'll be a link below. It's good. It's good. It's a good laugh. And individually and as a band, they've received more awards and accolades from trade publications and music magazines than we can count. It's just because they're so awesome. But anyway, the song, I really dig this song. Like all Rush songs, when you start digging into it, you can see that it's not just about one thing. Yes, the song is called Chemistry, and it makes many scientific references in the lyrics. But really, when you drill down into it, I think it's talking about and kind of comparing and contrasting the absolutes in science, in chemistry, with human interaction and how humans communicate and relate, and the power that music brings to those relationships. It's just a fantastic song. This album, Signals album, really marked the beginning of their foray away from blues-based, guitar-based prog rock and incorporating synthesizers much more. Uh, some of the band members liked that direction a lot more than some of the other band members. But it's kind of funny. In the early 80s, when this was happening, when this shift was happening for Rush, the English power trio, The Police, later admitted they were looking for publicity, started publicly criticizing the direction of Rush's music. In 2018, Stuart Copeland explained, and years later, it turns out Rush, guys in the band, Neil Peart, is so Canadian that he didn't even mind, and we became really great friends in spite of the fact that we used to criticize his band when we were just trying to get attention. I found that hilarious. But the respect other musicians pay to the band Rush is immense. Diverse artists from Dave Grohl and the late Taylor Hawkins to Les Claypool from Primus, Danny Carey from Tool, will all pay deep respect to the band Rush. Most notably, the drumming of Neil Peart. Rest in peace. He was just amazing, and he was so down to earth. He was never a rock star. In fact, he was fairly shy and reserved. He wouldn't take part in meet and greets and really did not like interacting with the public a lot in that role as a rock star. Not because he didn't like people, he just was shy, as Getty put it. But I've read many articles, many interviews with him, and their songs, as fans will know, go through a ton of weird time changes. But lots of bands do that. Some bands, you really feel it. The songs feel very jerky and disjointed. But Neil had this incredible ability to push and pull the tempos through those time changes so that you barely even noticed. You're just tapping your foot right along with the song, and you don't notice that you're going from 7/8 to 2 bars of 3/4 to 4/4 back to 7/8 and then to 13/16. You just don't realize it because he was fantastic. But as I said, this song I really feel is about kind of comparing and contrasting laws of science with the imprecise laws of humanity, how we relate to each other, how we relate to ourselves. And that brings us to Dr. T's impact line of the song, which is in the second verse, where it says, I to I. Well, you can read it because it's clever play on words. I to I, reaction burning hotter. There, we're not talking about somebody looking at you, eye to eye. I think what they're really getting at is introspection, looking at your inner self and what that introspection brings to you, whether it makes you love yourself more, dislike yourself more. Introspection brings a hotter reaction. It makes the process, the chemical process that we're going through in anodizing our lives happen. The more you are introspective, the more that you look at yourself and evaluate things, the better that reaction is going to process. At least that's the way I take it. You take it differently? Drop it in the notes. Let me know. Leave me a comment. But anyway, song, fantastic, tight musicianship. Beer, fantastic, tight brewing skills. Taylor, this is a great beer. I'll have to come back up for more. But if you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. When you subscribe, hit the notification bell because I'm putting out new content regularly. And I would like you to come along for the ride. But more importantly, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you like Rush? Do you hate Rush? If you hate Rush, leave your name and address in the comments, please. But until next time, good friends, keep drinking.